We hear so much about AI taking our jobs, but what about the jobs it's actually creating? It turns out, as AI starts to weave its way into, well, pretty much every industry, it's kicking off a whole new ecosystem of roles. We're talking everything from the front lines all the way up to the C-suite. So let's dive in and take a look at this brand new AI workforce and the one person who's supposed to be conducting it all.
You gotta love the gallows humor that's popping up around all this. A fake job ad for a kill switch engineer started making the rounds online. Some of the key skills, the ability to, and I quote, throw a bucket of water on the servers too, just in case. It's a joke, of course, but it kind of taps into a real anxiety that a lot of us are feeling. And that anxiety really gets us to the big question, right? Is this whole AI thing a job apocalypse, or is something else going on here? Well, while the fears are definitely out there, what's happening on the ground is way more complicated. This technology isn't just about getting rid of old roles, it's actually creating entirely new ones. So, where do these new jobs even come from? Well, it all starts with the training. Before an AI can do anything useful, it has to learn, and for that, it needs a human teacher. Take the data annotator, for instance. That role has totally transformed. It used to be this low-paid gig work, someone sitting there just tediously tagging images for hours and hours. Now, it's become this high-value knowledge transfer. See, as the AI models get smarter, they need to be trained by real subject matter experts. We're talking specialists in finance, in law, even in medicine. And believe me, this is not gig work anymore. The value that companies are placing on this kind of expert brainpower is just staggering. On platforms that connect these experts with AI companies, the average pay is around $90 an hour. That right there tells you just how critical this deep human expertise is for building AI that actually works. Okay, so once the bots are all trained up, they can't just hang out on a server somewhere, right? They gotta be deployed out in the real world. So let's move to the front line, where totally new kind of engineer is emerging. Companies like the big software giant Palantir have kind of built up this mystique around these roles. They're called forward deployed engineers, or FDEs. And this quote, it paints a picture of these super high stakes, almost military style operations. But what do these people actually do? The reality is they're this really unique hybrid. An FDE is part developer, part consultant, and yeah, even part salesman. They work right there with the clients, on site, customizing AI tools to solve very specific problems. So an FDE might be at a hospital, for example, helping them integrate a new AI diagnostic tool with all their patient data, making sure it all just works. They are that absolutely crucial bridge between the algorithm and the real world. And demand for this role? It is just skyrocketing. At the famous startup incubator Y Combinator, the number of job postings for FDEs jumped from just 4 last year to 63 this year. That is what you call explosive growth. And this brings us to a really fascinating paradox. As AI gets better and better at handling the purely technical stuff, the skills that are becoming the most valuable are the ones that are uniquely human. Think about a robo-taxi from a company like Waymo. It drives itself around perfectly until it doesn't. So what happens when it breaks down and there are passengers stuck inside? That's when you need what one CEO calls the guy or gal in the sky, a remote human troubleshooter who not only gets the tech, but also knows exactly how to calm down a customer who's freaking out. And that's the key point right there. As AI gets better at writing code, an engineer's value starts to shift. It's not just about how good you are at the technical stuff anymore. That bedside manner, that empathy, the ability to actually connect with people, your personality is where your premium is. Of course, with all this incredible new AI power comes a whole lot of new risk. And that has created what is now the single fastest growing job in IT, the AI Risk and Governance Specialist. These are the folks who build the guardrails, making sure these powerful new tools don't, leak sensitive data or bring the entire company crashing down. So you've got the trainers, you've got the frontline engineers, and you've got the governance specialists. It's like this complex new orchestra of talent. And what does every orchestra need? A conductor. In the corporate world, that conductor is the new chief AI officer. And this is not just some fancy new title. With AI's potential to completely upend entire industries, companies need a leader who can navigate this crazy new landscape. The CIO has to be this very specific kind of person, someone with deep technical chops, but also intimate knowledge of their industry. They need to have a history of actually transforming how a company operates. And maybe, most importantly, their job is to look the board in the eye and assure them that this massive technological shift is being taken seriously.
To really get a sense of the challenge this person is up against, just consider this. The typical large company today is using 11 different generative AI models. These are the AIs that can create new stuff: text, images, code. 11 of them. The chief AI officer isn't just managing one little project, they're trying to wrangle a whole portfolio of different AIs, all while being constantly bombarded by vendors trying to sell them even more. Which brings us to the absolute truth of this new C-suite role. Managing all that technical complexity, the brand new workforce, the immense risks, the corporate pressure. It is simply not a job for the faint-hearted. You have to imagine that some days they probably feel like reaching for that kill switch themselves. So as we look to the future, it's clear that the rise of AI isn't just about new tools. It's about a new kind of leadership. It's creating a corporate battlefield where the stakes are higher than ever. And the big question that leaves us with is this: who's going to be brave enough to lead the charge?